Hello, everybody, and welcome to my first Madden 24 game. I was trying to stream this last night, and basically what happened was like the game went live, and then the servers were down for like 3 hours. So I didn't get to play our first game on stream, and obviously I probably should have just waited for my next stream to play. But I realistically, my team finally has a quarterback, as you can see. So I feel like I had justification in wanting to play the game. I got so excited I just started running. Which maybe not what I'm hoping to see out of Aaron Rodgers when the actual season starts, but yeah. So I recorded this game. It was my first matchup, my first head-to-head game. They added cross-play this year to Madden, so I no longer have to search for 50 years to find a game, and to me, that's got to be the biggest thing. 2 years ago, I tried to get into Madden content creation as a PC player. There were only ever 3 people on at a time. The max player count never went over like 5,000 at once, and meanwhile, I boot this thing up last night, and it said there were 120,000 people playing, which is just awesome, right? Considering that the servers were down all day, so a bunch of other people came back like me. So I got to play my first game through. My impressions were there's a lot of stuff that can make it run really poorly. I actually could not get it to run smooth until this game. And of all the settings that actually helped, one recommendation I got for performance on PC for this is you actually want the frame rate limit enabled. Turning it off to unlimited just seems to be one of the things that bugs it out. So I just set it to 120. I play at 4K, 120 FPS normally anyway. And it's so nice to have a lot of fast wide receivers on this team. I'm gonna cook a lot of fools with me, Cole Hardman. I mean, everybody's already going to be looking for Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis and Lazard, but then you've just got the speedster. Anyway, and you want to turn on VSync in game. So normally I do the NVIDIA recommended low latency settings for my PC, which is turn VSync off in games on an NVIDIA control panel, and also use a frame rate limit to about 3 to 4 FPS under your maximum refresh rate of your monitor. That's supposed to keep your graphics card locked in G-Sync mode or whatever, so that it's not bouncing between V-Sync on or off. But it doesn't seem to function very well with Madden. So you want to have your frame rate limit set to 120. You want to have your V-Sync enabled, and that actually completely got rid of all the stutter and issues that I was having. So we come off to a pretty nice start here. Nice early lead. I think that it feels a little bit better for PC. The game literally has not been updated to the next gen version until this year. So for me, it is kind of like an entirely different game. If you played Madden on the PS5 or on the Xbox Series X in the last season or two, if you played the next gen version, then you've already seen a lot of this. But it's the first time that they're bringing in the new animations and I want to say quote-unquote physics, because I know a lot of it is still more animation than physics-driven, and that's always been a hot-button issue of the year every year. I got a little distracted watching this back, seeing that Mosley dive. But yeah, I wasn't recording or anything. I just wanted to dominate this guy and then maybe record it after so I could put something up. As you can see, I was trying to bring Quentin Jefferson back there for the interception, pulling him off the line. Got kind of close. I got kind of close there. I mean, he's playing as the Dolphins, so you're either expecting him to try to scramble with his quarterback or he's trying to make big plays to Tyreek Hill. But the beautiful thing about the Jets is that our team is actually not terrible this year. Sauce Gardner, I think, is the highest rated player on the roster. I think his OVR is somewhere like 92, 93. Makes sense. He's the best cornerback in the NFL last season. So he kind of keeps things on lock, and the defensive line has just been an absolute monster. This might be the biggest play that this guy busts out on me here. Gets a nice run on the outside. But yeah, I think as far as the game mechanics go, there are a couple things I don't really feel super crazy about. If you look at the top of the screen, there's like those meters that are lighting up. Apparently, there's a momentum mechanic where if you start playing well and dominating your opponent, it just snowballs out of control. Their screen starts to shake. I think their Xbox X asks for like a verification can or something if they get too far behind to make sure they're not a bot. But it seems like you can do stuff like see who pass targets and whatnot are going to be. And, for a three-way tackle, it looks a little less ugly than on the previous Madden. I think the third guy coming in there, he kind of derped a little bit, but baby steps, right? just the fact that I can actually find other people to play against kind of elevates this game for me. So I'm trying to lurk with Mosley on the inside, and that outside coverage has just been good. I really love going with I really love taking the spy plays with this defense, because the Jets defense typically last season was one of the lowest blitz rates in the league. So if you're playing them in Madden, one thing you might want to consider is not really sending your linebackers or safeties into dive. The Jets don't have a lot of depth at the linebacker position, so I really like to play dime. You get 4 guys bringing the pressure. Jets D-line is one of the absolute best in the league, but you can kind of copy Robert Saleh's philosophy of keeping a lot of defensive backs on the field, not as many linebackers, and you just let your front 3 or your front 4 hold the line. Obviously, Quinnen Williams, he's one of the top players that we had, got a big contract extension a couple of weeks ago, but he finally got a superstar power as well. So you've got the El Toro on him, so you can push through and get a lot of pressure without having to commit extra linebackers onto the line. And of course, John Franklin Myers, I think, is also one of the other highest rated defensive linemen in Madden this year. They've given a little bit more respect to that Jets defense as they put up a huge numbers last year. And as you can see, this guy, he's just riding the struggle bus now. I think that's maybe our 3rd quarterback hit this game. Doesn't get him before the ball's out of his hands for the sack, but this was a pretty fun game. Getting back into it, my first game against another person, it always feels good. And then obviously there's that moment that eventually comes where you know that you're going to completely break them. And this is before we've got any roster updates. Probably cut a little early there to the right. I was getting a little antsy. I thought the linebacker was coming straight on me, but it seemed like he was hesitating for a second. But the Jets just signed Dalvin Cook yesterday, so the roster obviously did not update instantly. But I'm going to be stoked when the actual season patch hits. Garrett Wilson, now that's my boy right there. This is probably my favorite play this game. Just completely shoves off. That's an animation that I definitely have not seen in the previous iteration. So I think that's a part of their new gen tech. He's able to catch the ball in on his left side, shove away with the right, get that push off after the catch. And obviously Garrett Wilson is going to be one of the number 1 fantasy picks this year. If you're in a league and your friends think the Jets are bad, let me tell you, Garrett Wilson, I don't ever want to take injuries into account because I don't believe in putting bad omens on people. So all things going well, my boy's getting at least 1,200 this year, okay? At least. Ashton Davis just completely lays him out on the return. So I've got him pinned at the 9-yard line, by the way. Not the best kick return ever. Not the best kick return ever. Ashton Davis mostly relegated to a lot of special teams plays on the roster now. He was his infamous first ever NFL game. He took a kick return and tried to literally do a front flip over a tackler, and it failed miserably. He got helicoptered midair, landed hard on his back on the ground, fumbled the football, and the other team recovered. It was brutal. And then he never returned a kick again. But he still managed to stay on the team, even though that safety position's been a little tougher for him. You'll see in the back, that's Adrian Amos. That's the Jets safety that we picked up. We did sign Chuck Clark off of the Chiefs roster, but he tore his ACL, and I come up with DJ Reed at the pass breakup. So I specifically use on the Xbox controller the X button for the pass breakup. Even though he's not really close enough, the wide receiver has, I think, the separation to get the ball in. You can kind of get that last jump knockout, and I don't know, I almost feel bad for him at that point. Like, if there was one play that this guy deserved this game, it was probably that specific play. But yeah, that's tough. Sometimes what I'll do is, you leave Sauce in one-on-one against Tyreek, and then maybe you try to use the linebacker to help him if they're in a spread formation. But whoever the secondary primary target would be, like if it's Waddle or whatever, that's when I put that deep safety in the back, user man-to-man him, so that the 2 AI guys are in double coverage, and then I can handle the other double coverage with the linebacker creeping back. Since I try to seal the outside with the spread on the defensive lineman, you run the quarterback contain, double tap the upper right bumper. And then just force him to throw the ball. Force him to throw the ball with a minimum rush. That is the defensive philosophy that the team employs in the real games too. You I think, again, the lowest linebacker blitz rate in the league last year, even though we were one of the top teams in quarterback pressures, pretty much purely from John Franklin Myers and Quinnen Williams. And Carl Lawson is looking to have his comeback here. They say that Achilles injury takes more than 1 year to recover from, so he's been looking a little bit sharper, a little bit tougher. But if he comes out healthy enough with the way Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson have been looking in the preseason, then this is a defense that's going to be absolutely nightmarish. It's kind of funny to think, those guys aren't even on the field right now. I could probably just rotate them in on a few of my packages. And this was his greatest mistake. Goes over the top once again. He's already run that play, and Adrian Amos is just there. He's wearing number 0. That's a new thing this year. And my opponent, he just gives up. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. That was my first game of Madden 24. Hope it wasn't literally the worst thing ever.